70-37. That's the free play run here on the video report over the past 55 days. 70-37. And those are the plays I'm giving away for free. And I've got 2 more today. What I think is going to be the most interesting game to watch from a college football fan's perspective, not necessarily to gamble on, and I'll tell you why. It's going to be the game in Houston tonight between Texas A&M and Arizona State. I don't think that's going to be a defensive battle, hint, hint. And then of all the games that have the big double-digit margins today, I think the most interesting betting opportunity comes out of the Arkansas UTEP game, which is an afternoon tilt. I'm going to give you my breakdowns and my analysis and my free picks for both those games coming up in just a moment. Listen, this is the beginning. This is the beginning of a 5-month journey for us together, okay? College football and NFL, the first big Saturday. And what is the key for us as action junkies? Because we are action junkies. You're an action junkie. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this video report because you know I'm an action junkie. And action junkies, we need to have action throughout the season. So you're going to hear a lot of handicappers talk about money management, and they'll talk about all these systems and units of play. And my God, they make it sound like they all went to MIT and they expected you to be math grads too. Here's the bottom line. Here's what money management means, okay? And this is what you have to always remember if you're an action junkie. You have X number of dollars that you are going to have available to lose. Worst case scenario. How much money can you afford to lose for the entire football season? That's this hand, okay? And on this hand, let's just pick a number and say you got 20 weeks of action. That'll get you through the entire NFL regular season, through the college football season, even in the early part of the college bowl season. If you have this much money that you can lose over the entire course of the season, and you have 20 weeks, you got to bring it together and say, hey, divide this by this, and suddenly you know how much money you can play with every week. And if you're only going to play Saturday and Sundays, you take that figure and you divide it by 2. Now, hopefully, as the season progresses and you win money and you inflate that bankroll, you've got to recalculate as the season goes on. I now have this much money and I have this many more weeks to play. But that's the key for us as action junkies, guys. If we can't get our fix, if you come out too fast and hard and you go to the tables and you suddenly blow your entire bankroll, ruins the whole season, doesn't it? That's the bottom line. So that's truly what money management means. How much can you afford to lose, worst case scenario, over the entire course of the season or on any given day you are betting? That's how you maintain your action throughout the season. Quick story for you. Now, a week ago today, I happened to be driving across the country for the second time in, a 3-week period. I don't want to do that again. And I happened to be in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So one of the thrills that I've had in the many drives I've made across this country of ours in the last 10 years or so is I like to stop at other college campuses. I like to see how the other half lives, of course. Listen, I went to school at Temple University in North Broad Street in Philadelphia. Yuck, not exactly. Oh, again, Temple backers are going to go, he really doesn't like that school. It has nothing to do with that. I mean, but, given my options again, I'd probably go, well, I'd like to go to a school that had a little nicer campus. But that's the bottom line. But I love seeing how other campuses are. I love seeing if they're in a cute little town, if they're a charming situation. And, of course, I love seeing the football stadiums because, listen, like you, probably grew up watching and hearing Keith Jackson call college football games and Brett Musburger and seeing all these stadiums on TV. And now as a gambler, as a handicapper, I'm talking about these teams that play at these locations all the time. As a reporter, I got to visit a lot of them. But those that I haven't, I always try to sneak them into my journeys. So last week, we're coming through Louisiana. And we had spent 3 days in Biloxi, Mississippi, which is a surprisingly nice little gambling town. I'll tell you what, it is the 3rd biggest gambling town behind Vegas and Atlantic City. And even though it has never fully, at this stage, recovered from Hurricane Katrina, it's a nice area. I mean, you got the beaches and you've got the golf and you've got, all some really nice casinos down there. So it was very impressive. I had never been there before. We spent an extra day there because my wife felt it was very important to stimulate the economy of Biloxi, Mississippi. But for me, I look at it this way. Over a 3-day period, she only came out down $125 for 3 days of nonstop gambling. That's like a winning day. That's like winning the Powerball as far as I'm concerned. So anyway, we're driving over to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I told my wife, I said, well, listen, we're going to stop at the LSU campus. I said, and we'll stop and we'll see the Tiger, Mike the Tiger. And she laughed at me. And I said, honey, I'm serious. There's a tiger at the stadium. And she laughed at me again. So, of course, we pull into, and if you've ever been to LSU's campus, you know, you pull down in the main athletic complex. And on this side is the Maravich Center, where they play basketball, named after Pete Maravich. And over this side, of course, is Tiger Stadium. So I pull the car into a parking spot, and right there is a statue of a tiger, because that's what they have for the photo ops, right? And my wife says, this is the tiger? I said, honey, please, just go walk over there. And over there, of course, I'm pointing to this big, I don't know if it's a plexiglass or whatever, this thing with water in it, and it's see-through, and it looks like a jungle. And she's looking around, and I said, honey, go around the corner. And, of course, there's Mike the Tiger. Of course, Mike the Tiger didn't look very ferocious that particular day. He was actually taking a siesta. He's laying on his back with his paws up in the air. I thought, this looks like a dog that you would have at home when you're rubbing his belly. It's a tiger. And he never moved for like 20 minutes. I happened to be reading a story a couple of days ago as I was prepping for the college football season. LSU's athletic department, the handlers of Mike the Tiger, they are going to try to get him to attend the first 3 home games this season. Not a job that I envy, okay? Because last year, he did not attend any home games. In fact, only 32 of a possible 57 home games since his 2007 arrival, of course, this is Mike the Tiger number 6, has he attended. Not a very good rate. I mean, this tiger is certainly not cooperative at all. But anyway, it's an interesting place. It's definitely a cool, I wasn't a big fan of the campus, you know, but tell me, you know, you go to Happy Valley. Do you see a lion? Do you, you know, I mean, I didn't see any war eagles when I went to Auburn a couple of weeks ago. You know, I didn't see much at the in Tuscaloosa when I go to see the Tide. But, you know, it's definitely a cool place. But when you look at that stadium and you go, my God, 102,000 people there. And I'm in there a week ago today, and it's empty. You know, there's 5 or 6 cars. And you look and you go, where did they put 102,000 people? It just must be a zoo there when the games are played. So, but a cool place, I will say. So if you're ever going through Baton Rouge, you've got to sidetrack off Interstate 10 and head on down there. It's only like a 10-minute drive off, and you can go see Mike the Tiger, who, of course, also has his own Facebook page and his own Twitter account as well. Hey, go figure. Okay, let's talk about football. Listen, this being Saturday, each and every Saturday over the past 4 years, I've given you a money-saving discount coupon code that could potentially save you hundreds of dollars off your total purchase price, and today is no different. Today, guys, you can save 22% off your total purchase price by using coupon code, I know this is a tough one, 22%, 22PERCENT. Now, the great thing about this is a mix and match coupon, which means you can use it for any combination of Handicapper's picks and or packages. The only stipulation, it's a one-time usage coupon, which means you can't come in and get the latest 100-dime play from the winningest football handicapper at this site, Shawn Michaels, and then hours later come in and get one of the big nighttime plays from another guy. No, everything in your shopping cart at one time to maximize your savings, and then you use that coupon code 22%, and that saves you 22% off your total purchase price. I do this every single Saturday just to let you newcomers know, because about 85% of the total customer base here at the site that you're watching this video report, they all buy some type of extended long-term package. So I make sure I give it every Saturday so you know you can count on it, and always look forward to extrapolating your savings out to a maximum level by knowing that every 7 days that coupon is going to be available to you. Speaking of Shawn Michaels, listen, everybody asked me, who is the winningest football handicapper at this site? No ifs, ands, or buts. It is Shawn Michaels, because over the past 5+ seasons in the NFL and college football, he has made a $10 better, a little over $31,000. Hit his 100-dime opening KO game of the year with Utah over Michigan on Thursday night. You got that as the half-price play of the day. He is 21-6 with college football 100-dime releases over the past 2+ years. He has another going today. His 100-dime college opening blowout of the year. It's the half-price play of the day from the guy who's made $10 bettors in football. Over 31 grand the past 5 years. You get it for half price by using coupon code Shawn, S-E-A-N. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Scott Delaney has come out of the gates like gangbusters. Perfect 2 for 2 with his 100-dime max wager releases. Yesterday, Charlotte An 8-point underdog winning outright over Georgia State. Listen, I got to be honest. I didn't even look at the game. I didn't handicap the game. Maybe I should have since I lost in baseball instead on Friday night. He won that as a 100-dime play. On Thursday night, he had with South Carolina over North Carolina. You got both of those 100-dime plays at $70 off the regular price, which means you got his 100-dime max wagers plays that he is 83-58 with over the past 3 years in all sports. You got them for just $29. The same thing goes today as I continue to show you. You don't have to spend big money to make big money. You save $70. You get it for $29 by using coupon code EARLY because it's an early game today. It goes at 3:30 Eastern Time, Tulsa and Florida Atlantic. 3:30 Eastern Time kickoff, coupon code EARLY, EARLY. Almost had a brain freeze there spelling the word early. All your other promos, etc., are over on the homepage. Let me get to your free plays here first. Let's talk about that Arizona State-Texas A&M game. Again, I don't think this is going to be a defensive battle, okay? Nothing about that at all strikes me in this particular contest. But I think it's a very hard game to gamble on because the line is set fairly at 2.5 to 3 points, and I think this game could go one way or another. Now, is Texas A&M playing at home? No, they are not playing at Kyle Field. They are playing in Houston. But Jesus, you're talking Bryan, Texas to Houston. Oh my God, you're looking at probably a 90-minute drive, maybe 2 hours in traffic. It's not forever. You know what I mean? I'm looking at Arizona State, though, and I just like the team that Todd Graham has put together. But it's time for his team to finally take a step and move out of just being in the middle of the pack in the Pac-12. And this is a great opportunity for them. National TV, non-conference game to start the season, not playing a cupcake. And this is a damn good team defensively. They've done a good job putting putting pressure with their pass rush on quarterbacks over the past 2 years. But they have struggled at times with consistency, giving up some big plays, struggling at times to stop the run. But then again, you're playing in the Pac-12 week in, week out. It's like playing in the SEC week in, week out and trying to have a great defense against the run. Sometimes it just doesn't happen because your defense doesn't get any breaks because the opponents are so good. And when you're playing in the pass-happy Pac-12, that's definitely going to affect your defensive stats. However, Graham returns 9 starters to his defense. He's got a quarterback that's coming back who played very well in relief when, what was his name, Taylor Kelly, I think what it was last year, was hurt. So they've got a veteran offense as well, a bevy of wide receivers that contributed to an offense that was ranked 16th in the nation last year with plays of 30-plus more yards. So that shows you that the quick strike potential. Now, of course, you have a Texas A&M team that started off fast last year against South Carolina, went through a quarterback change as their season kind of fell apart. And the reason their season fell apart was because of their defense. It was absolutely awful. So they went out and they hired the former defensive coordinator of LSU, John Chavis, to come in and take over. I mean, they couldn't stop anybody against the run last year, 111th in the nation, allowing over 5 yards per carry. They do have 8 starters back on offense and defense, okay? So not exactly like the cupboard is bare. You got to wonder whether or not Kyle Allen is truly the answer at quarterback. Yes, I know he made 5 starts to end the season last year, and he averaged like 216 yards passing. He has a very good ground game for support. But it all comes down to which one of these teams, both defensively flawed, both with offenses that can put points on the board, are going to play better at stopping each other. And in this particular case, I'm going to go with Arizona State. I think it's going to be a game that could come down and be decided by a turnover. I think it's going to be a game that's going to be decided by 3 or 4 points. Could go either way, but I feel more comfortable taking Arizona State plus the 2.5 to 3 points and naturally buying up the half point on Arizona State if that line is anywhere between 2.5 and 4 points, and grab the points with Arizona State because I do think they're going to win this game. Now, I mentioned of all the double-digit favorites on the board today, I think my favorite one, no pun intended, would be Arkansas at home against UTEP. It's kind of funny when you look back that a year and a half ago, Brett Bielema was looked at as a carpetbagger. What's this Yankee? What's this Northerner who did all this stuff at Camp Randall in Wisconsin? What's he doing coming to Fayetteville and taking over the Arkansas Razorback? Not like he had an SEC connection, had an SEC pedigree. What the hell was he doing? And, of course, when they sucked in his first year, it wasn't that easy. But you saw the turnaround last season. You saw a team that went 3-9 and winless in the SEC in year number 1, go 7-6 last year, and you saw that team upset LSU and who was it? Mississippi? Yeah. No, was it? Yeah, it was LSU and Mississippi in consecutive weeks last year. And then, of course, they took care of business in the postseason and the bowl against Texas as well. You got a UTEP team that is rebuilding, a UTEP team that couldn't stop anybody against the run last year. Their defense gave up an average of 5.24 yards per carry to opposing backs a year ago. How are they going to stop Arkansas from running the ball today? It's going to be hot. It's going to be humid. I think in the second half, Arkansas is going to be able to break this game open. They are not a dynamic offensive team, but what Bielema has done is he's come down and he's basically replicated what made him so successful up in Wisconsin, a massive offensive line. You know, I was reading that his offensive line averages 327.6 pounds. That is more than any, excuse me, guys, any NFL team. I get so choked up talking about these weight figures. More than any NFL team. Now, I don't know where that information comes from, and I found it very interesting to find that in the middle of the story, and I thought to myself, you mean there's some stat geek out there going, hey, what's the starting weight of the offensive line on average of every NFL team? Blows my mind. But anyway, Arkansas is bigger. And just in case you happen to be on Jeopardy, the answer of who has the biggest offensive line among the 5 starters, average weight, it's the San Diego Chargers at 325 pounds. So there you go. Don't say that this video report didn't educate you as well as give you winners. That's what we're here for, just in case you're on Jeopardy. So anyway, I'm going to go with them. Arkansas was number 12 last year nationally in run defense, which I think is a hell of a statistic, considering, again, they played in the SEC against some top teams. They were number 10 in total defense last year, giving up 323 yards a game. They were number 10 in scoring defense, giving up 19 points a game. And, when you look at that turnaround, the previous 2 years, they gave up over 30 points a game. Last year, only 19.2. UTEP has a strong running back in Aaron Jones. They're very green at quarterback. They don't have much defensively as well. Their secondary is going to probably have 2 freshman starters, and it's loaded with inexperienced players. Again, I think it's a 33-point number. I think it's a huge number, but I think it's a number that is certainly, in this case, a workable number because I think Arkansas, as I said, in the second half of this game, will simply grind their way to the cover. And it'll be a good launching pad for a good season, I think, for the Razorbacks. So that'll do it for Saturday's video. Best of luck, guys. Go forth, make money, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow when we do this one more time.